Not only the prompt becomes the editable part, but also the model itself.
Chris will tell us a bit about exactly maybe the question that some of you had about fine-tuning an AI model. Then I want to, a round of applause and watch him.
So I would like to talk to you about AI and kind of dirty word that the AI people say sometimes, which is machine learning. Yeah, machine learning is a term that you want to use if you don't want AI bros at your event. But basically, this is the same thing. And the way it works is you have a big pile of data, you stir it, and you get some answers. And if it doesn't work, you stir it a little bit more. And this stirring can be done in several steps. And fine-tuning is like the small stir at the very end to get the really, really nice results. So if you're training a model, fine-tuning is like adding extra nice feature on top of it. And you can think of it that training is basically teaching someone how to code. And fine-tuning is basically telling them to use minispec over rspec. Yeah, can we just use RAG for this? Because we can probably prompt it to, use minitest and that's it. And the answer is yes, we could. But at the same time, no. There are some things that are difficult to do with RAG, which are easy to do with fine-tuning. So when to fine-tune? A good thing to fine-tune is style preference. And by style preference, I mean things like structured output that Obi mentioned. Like if you want some specific structure, it's easy to fine-tune for those. You might want to save tokens on producing better Markdown. Like the default Markdown output for GPT-5 looks something like the top thing, which will run you 31 tokens. But you can do the same thing with the bottom one, which will run you for 25 tokens. And yeah, I know tokens are cheap, but if you're running this at scale, this saves you like 1/6 of the cost. And this is exactly the same thing. You just like reduce the number of dashes and you removed all the spaces. You might want to do things like query expansion. So if someone types a short query, you might fine-tune a model to be specialized in outputting a better query. So teaching user how to search without making them learn anything. Maybe you want to dial down on cyclomancy, or maybe you want the user not to be able to do specific queries, which are called refusals. You can teach a model that, okay, you answered this question. This is silly. Please don't explain how to make a bomb. Please don't do it anymore. So if you come up with examples, you can use them to train model further to not be able to tell somebody how to build something dangerous. You can fine-tune function calling into a model that doesn't support function calling. Function calling is also called tool calling, and there is a nice Hugging Face course on agents that basically takes a model that doesn't support function calling, and they train it to do. You can do fine-tuning for routing models. Routing models are the models that are picking which other model should actually respond to the user query. So you function call other agents. OpenAI called those handoffs, but basically this is the same thing. Here's an example, like you have a prompt that will say you are a routing model, given the user query, pick one of the several other models that will answer the question. Do not answer the question directly. And then you give the options as the functions, and then you have user query. And if you manually answer which one should go with a particular query, you have a data set for fine-tuning something. So basically you do those manually and then you put them as a training set. And the model learns that the right answer for this particular query is this. When not to fine-tune, don't fine-tune LLMs. You can fine-tune other models for those, but don't fine-tune LLMs for knowledge. But we will be ignoring this advice right now because we would like to fine-tune a model for knowledge. We would like to teach a model something about the conference. So fine-tuning in Ruby, it's a mess. It doesn't work very well. We're lacking several tools. There are some like baby tools that we can kind of sort of use to train simple neural nets, but we don't have the full stack to do it in Ruby. But we have the rule of thumbs. By the way, this is the official AI thumbs up logo. I really love it. Yeah. If you want to train something local, at this point, probably stick to Python. I kind of keep my fingers crossed for the guy who trying to port MLX, the Apple machine learning framework, to Ruby, because then we could basically use Ruby for that. But if you wanted to fine-tune something that is external, like OpenAI, Anthropic, they provide you APIs to do it. So yeah, we can use those. Close to that? No, OpenAI. Yeah, that's how I call it. They have this guide on supervised fine-tuning, which is best for classification, nuance translation, generating content. We can fine-tune this list to include training models to answer questions about Ruby conferences. And then we can actually do it. We can do it from the Ruby, or from the OpenAI client. They support fine-tuning. This basically schedules a background job that will fine-tune something and will give you the model ID, which you will be able to use in the further chat completion calls, so chats, anything else that you will use. You can also do it, I forgot to mention, you need training data, and those are in JSONL. Has anyone ever stumbled upon the JSONL file? Okay, I see some hands up. This is a really silly format because this is basically, I have a bunch of JSONs, like objects, and I just put them together line by line, so I can have more than one JSON in a file. And because models usually communicate on the API with messages like this, we can just make it into one line and create a bunch of those. And note that these might include stuff like function calls or some other special, like, I don't know, multi-model queries. And these are still valid lines for the training a model. But I don't have time to do this, so I basically just downloaded the front website of Friendly.rb, and I asked ChatGPT, can you create me a training set for fine-tuning GPT-4 with some data about Friendly.rb? And it spit out me a file that I could use for training. I would normally use this, but because it's a one-time operation, you can also use the UI. There's a bunch of different options, which we won't be going over, but if you're interested, you can ask me what do they do. The training looks like this, which looks like nothing on this particular projector in this particular lighting, but there is, you have to trust me that there is a graph at the bottom that shows you the loss function, which is the thing that is like, what's the difference between the answers and the answers that you would really like. It takes 3 hours on 4.1, and it costs $1. So it's not very expensive, but you have to wait for a long time. We won't be doing fine-tuning live, because apparently I didn't got 3 hours to wait on stage. But yeah, we can actually demo this model. Here it goes, the live demo. They never fail, right? Yeah, so here is evaluation tool that I kind of hope will be more visible, so I will... Can you actually see something? Can we dim the bottom light, because I'll be typing there, or is it impossible? I don't think they support that, because the entire OpenAI panel is byte-coded and never works. Yeah, it's not a joke. Like yesterday, I was fine-tuning another model, and it just randomly died and stayed down for like an hour or something, and I don't trust this thing. Okay, but let's try it out. This hallucinates like crazy, so if it says something stupid, this is not on me, this is on the model. What are the AI talks at Friendly.rb 2025. It listed some. I think some of those are real or at least semi-real, like OB, this is close, because it's close enough. But of course, the generic model doesn't know anything about this. I'll be clearing the context after each query, because I don't really want to pollute it. But let's do something else, like what date is Friendly.rb 2025. I won't be able to let you play with this model, like I can't really give you an URL, but I can give you a training set and you can train your own. I'll link you the Hugging Face for the training set that I used. And let's see, I guess going to the after party. Yeah, so if you use the generic model, you wouldn't be able to find the after party. But if you use the fine-tune one, you would be at home. Yeah, so fine-tuning is like a secret sauce that you can do to change the ways of the model to be able to add some knowledge or some style or something else into the mix. So not only the prompt becomes the editable part, but also the model itself. Of course, it's not as easy. Like these are like random terms related to training models and fine-tuning. All of them sounds very weird. One of them is a Pokemon. I hope you can find this one. Ah, that's a good one. So it's not something that you can actually like learn completely and be like a fine-tuning or model training expert in a day. But it is something that is, I think, worth exploring, because even if you're not training models for your daily job, it helps you understand how do they work and how do they fail in different scenarios. And I'm leaving you with this one more AI-generated image, but I was told that this one is better, because it completes the flag. I know this is in the wrong order, but the model didn't know about this. But these are like the 3 rubies that we had during the 3 iterations of Friendly.rb.
Thank you very much. Thank you.